Hello, all of you beautiful, weird number people that have decided to tune in for yet another episode of Data Analytics in Sports. I am not one for lengthy, long introductions, so I have decided I am just going to jump right into exactly what it was I wanted to say. Briefly, I would like to thank this person. On my last video, they took time out of their day, I can assume their very busy day, and they left a very insightful comment, I think, on my previous video where I will admit, upon some reflection, I went a little too hard at a Mr. number 2 overall pick to the Jets, Mr. Zach Wilson. I came off as a little too negative, I believe. Does he have a stereotypical name? Yes. Is he pasty? Yes. Did he get drafted into possibly the worst organization in professional sports outside of the Houston Texans and maybe the Pittsburgh Pirates in the MLB? Although, granted, I don't know much about the MLB, so maybe they've turned it around since then. But to my knowledge, they're not a very well-run organization. Yes, he probably did get drafted into a very bad organization. However, this person brought up their name, Andrew, Nypower. Sorry, I don't want to try to butcher that last name, but he said, the exact quote was, I heard that outsiders were saying that Trevor Lawrence struggled through spring camps and threw a bunch of red zone interceptions with many balls hitting the ground. The Jets beat writers were saying that Zach Wilson did not look like a rookie and that he has really impressed so far. I think Zach has the intangibles and the drive to be the QB with the most success from this year's draft. First and foremost, thank you. I am a small channel. I don't get a whole lot of comments, and I really appreciate it. Taking time out of your busy day to talk football. That's what I like doing. I like talking sports, and I appreciate the comment. I am a small channel. I do not have many subscribers, so I appreciate someone listening and then taking what I say and responding. In response to this person, however, I still disagree. I think he very eloquently put, outsiders are saying that Trevor Lawrence struggled, and beat writers are saying that Zach Wilson has impressed. Right off the bat, I don't agree that Wilson will be the most talented person from this year's draft, although to this person's credit, and a lot of people are going to call me crazy for this, but to this person's credit, Chris Sims, former NFL quarterback for, I believe, the Buccaneers, I could be wrong, but he's a former NFL quarterback, currently works for NBC or CBS Sports. I don't really listen to him too much. However, in the 2018 draft, I believe, yes, the 2018 draft with Mayfield, Darnold, Allen, Rosen, and Jackson, that's Baker, Sam, Josh, and Lamar, for those of you who don't go by last names like I usually do. He said that the two best quarterbacks in that draft were, this is Chris Sims, by the way, said Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson would be the two best quarterbacks from that draft, and he was spot on. So, and that brings me to my next point, which was that Chris Sims believes, or at least he said in a previous video before the draft, that Zach Wilson is a better prospect and has a higher ceiling than Trevor Lawrence. And that is essentially what Andrew, ironic, that's my name as well, commented on my previous video. And I'm not going to dismiss out of hand that it is possible that Wilson ends up being better than Trevor Lawrence. I respectfully disagree. However, I take one issue with his comment, and I'm just going to read something. By all accounts, Trubisky impressed coaches and teammates with his ability to quickly process everything that was thrown at him. Those were the Bears beat writers back in 2017 before the season. Yes, I would just like to point out beat writers statistically and morally are wrong about a lot of the players that are drafted into organizations. Again, though, I appreciate the comment. I'm a small channel, so I always appreciate interaction with people that listen to me. Even if I disagree, this person sounds like a Jets fan, and I hope I'm wrong. I realize in the last video I came off as a little negative towards Zach Wilson, but I really hope there's 32 first-round picks. I hope all 32 of them are wildly successful and make millions of dollars and can take care of their families for the rest of their lives, and they play great football for 10 plus years. But it's not going to happen. I wish that did happen, and I really wish Zach Wilson all the best. I loved Mark Sanchez growing up as a kid. I loved him taking to the Jets to back-to-back AFC championship games, even if I don't love Rex Ryan later in life. I find I wish the Jets nothing but the best. However, just to double down on the point I was making yesterday, I think Wilson could be good. He could be good. But just to reiterate some numbers that I spat out yesterday, I did a little more digging, and there have been 39 first-round quarterbacks since 2010. I'm going to exclude the 2021 most recent draft where we haven't seen any of them play. So there has only been 34 from 2020 to 2010. So there's 34 quarterbacks in the past decade of drafts. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So technically 11 drafts, 2020 to 2010. Technically 11 drafts, but 34 quarterbacks drafted in 11 drafts. As I'm sure a lot of you know, there are 4 divisions, 2 conferences, each division with 4 teams. That gives you 32 NFL teams total. So there are there's roughly been one first-round quarterback per team, roughly like 1.0, 1.1, 1.05, something like that. But still, roughly 1-to-1. Okay, so I calculated this out, that there are roughly 10 that are or will be impactful. Those, I believe, include Burrow, Herbert, Murray, Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I'm at 6. Mahomes, Watson, 8. Maybe Wentz, so like 8.5. Luck, Griffin out of the league. Tannehill, that's 9, and that's it. Cam Newton is basically out of the league. He's got a couple more years maybe as a starter for like an okay team. I don't see him any better than I do like a Teddy Bridgewater, and I don't include Teddy Bridgewater in the top 10. It's 10 if you think, I believe Wentz could make a decent comeback. However, the point I'm making is that there are 34 first-round quarterbacks since 2010 up until the 2021 draft where we haven't seen anyone play, so I'm excluding that. 10 are/will be impactful. 13 were. The 13 I also then include Newton, Andrew Luck, and Robert Griffin III, RG3. So hypothetically, if we take all that were impactful, so let's say hypothetically that we just want someone to have been impactful to consider them a success as a first-round pick, less than or a little over a decade later. So there's 13 guys out of 34. So that's roughly 38%. So 38% of first-round picks from 2010 to 2020, I would deem as having been impactful. So, roughly, every 10 picks, what did I write down? Every 10 picks, roughly 3 are good or 4 are good, depending. Let's use all impactful QBs then. For every 10 picks, 4 are good, or for every 5, 2 are good. Sorry, I crunched a lot of numbers and I didn't really explain my mental math. I find that that's usually what gives me a less than ideal grade in college. Well, I've graduated now, so that did give me less than an ideal grade in college. But here's the interesting part. If you take into account all quarterbacks that were at some point in their careers impactful since 2010 up till 2020, 13 of them I would deem were or are or will be impactful. So that's less than 50%. That's 38%. That's just below 40%. So technically, for every 5 picks, 2 are good. For every 5 first-round quarterbacks, 2 of them are good. And statistically, I calculated 18 out of 34 approximately were just flat-out busts. Okay, so that includes Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, Brandon Weeden, E.J. Manuel, Blake Bortles, Johnny Manziel, Teddy Bridgewater, not really. I don't consider him a flat-out bust, but Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Jared Goff, Paxton Lynch, Mitchell Trubisky, Sam Darnold, I guess kind of, Dwayne Haskins, Josh Rosen. I calculated 18 out of 34 first-round picks were just flat-out busts. And that's a 53% chance. Okay, that's 52.9. So obviously this is not a very film-driven analysis. This is strictly by the numbers and probability as to how likely it is that one player is going to be very good if they're a first-round quarterback. And I know Chris Sims believes Zach Wilson is hypothetically a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence. He also said that Kellen Mond, I believe, was like the third or the fourth best quarterback. Or no, he said it was Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Kellen Mond, maybe then Justin Fields. He might have even thrown like Kyle Trask in there before Justin Fields. I honestly don't know. He could be right, and he was right. He was right in 2018 when he said that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen were the two best quarterbacks. However, and this is the other thing, the Jets drafted third overall a quarterback who I believe to be, or at least was coming out of college, a significantly better prospect. And a lot of people tended to agree with me. Well, at least back then they agreed with me that he was a very, very good prospect. Not that he was better than Zach Wilson. I haven't heard anyone say that. But I believe Sam Darnold was a better prospect coming out of college than Zach Wilson. And they screwed him so bad, this Jets organization. And they've consistently drafted bust after bust after bust. And the good players they do get want out almost immediately. And what concerns me with Zach Wilson going to the Jets is what concerned me with a guy like David Carr getting drafted by the Texans, or hell, even Mitchell Trubisky getting drafted by the Bears. No matter how good of a prospect you are, and this actually comes to a broader point, I believe. I personally believe almost every first-round pick in the NFL and NBA draft have the ability to play at the professional level. It all depends on where they land, okay? And one could even argue that Trevor Lawrence landed in a worse spot with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I would argue the Jacksonville Jaguars did everything they can to lose to get Trevor Lawrence, and so did the Jets. The Jets did everything they could to lose. They really wanted Trevor Lawrence. Okay? They really wanted Sam Darnold. That didn't work out. They really wanted Trevor Lawrence. That didn't work out. And now I'm expected to be told that they really want Zach Wilson and that it's going to work flawlessly. They don't have a great defense. They don't have a great O-line. They don't have any good offensive weapons. They did draft a guard out of USC, Elijah Vera Tucker, I believe is his name, with the 14th overall pick. That was a good move. That was a good pick. I think he's a guard. But I just think when you're this dysfunctional, anything short of a transcendent talent simply will not be good enough. Like with the Bears, I personally believe if Mitchell Trubisky went to a better team, like maybe the Steelers, or hell, if he went to the Chiefs, I personally believe he would be a starting caliber quarterback. Alex Smith, Ryan Fitzpatrick, nothing crazy, nothing groundbreaking. Tyrod Taylor, nothing groundbreaking, no MVPs in his future. But I think he would be in this league for a very, very long time. But because he went to such a dysfunctional organization, he's already sort of been written off as a starting caliber quarterback. And I think that with Zach Wilson, I don't believe he's a transcendent talent. And I think that he isn't even as good of a prospect as Sam Darnold. And the Jets really just ruined Sam Darnold's career, if we're being completely honest. Same, kind of similar to how the Giants are ruined Saquon Barkley's career. It all just depends on where you land. But those are my opinions on Zach Wilson. I wish him nothing the best. I think he does have a lot of talent, and I think it's totally possible that he makes me eat my words and he ends up becoming the best quarterback in this draft. I just don't think it's going to happen. But thanks again, the person who inspired me to come back to this and re-listen to my podcast and made me kind of realize I was a little too negative. Shout out to Andrew in the recent video. He commented, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the interaction. I always appreciate someone speaking their mind, speaking their truth. We can disagree. Go Jets, go. Jets, 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 Jets. Not a Jets fan personally, but if you are, I hope for a good season in your future. But now here's another thing I did. That's probably going to take me to the rest of this podcast. Was I went through? I'm currently on. I'm 2 down in the NFC, but I went through all 8 divisions in the NFL, and I went through their schedule. and I rated their opponent on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the easiest, 5 being the hardest. And I sort of I'm doing this as a way to just sort of like for myself figure out who is the hardest schedule. I find that oftentimes people overestimate or underestimate a team. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to come up with like a ceiling, a floor, and then who I believe to be a team that will most likely make me eat my words both in a positive or a negative way. In that, for example, not to actually, you know what? No, I won't spoil it. I was going to spoil it, but I was going to spoil one of the teams that's going to make me eat my words, but I'm going to save that for when I'm all done. So I'm going to start with the AFC. I'm not sure who I'm going to start with the AFC. I guess the AFC South is kind of fun. I could do the AFC West. Actually, the AFC South is not fun at all. But let's see, what's an interesting team? I guess the AFC North. Yeah, that's probably my most interesting team, I would say right off the bat. Oh, no, I have to redo the AFC North. Sorry. I just remembered that with the AFC North, I did not do the power ranking system on a scale of 1 to 5. I just literally went through their schedule, and I said loss, win, and then with the in-division opponents if they played. It was very difficult because by the time I hit the Bengals, every single time they played one team in division, I had to go back and check to see if I had them winning or losing. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to redo that one with my power ranking system just because I like that a little bit more. So if that's the case, I am going to do... you know what? I'll do the AFC East in honor of the Jets. I'm going to do the AFC East. Okay, so right off the bat, with the Dolphins, they had an overall score of a 49, which is pretty average, I would say, as far as strength of schedule. Maybe it's a little tougher than usual. Usually it's around a 46, 47, unless you're in the NFC North, not to spoil anything, but the NFC North got absolutely crushed by the schedule makers this year, in my opinion. NFC North, AFC South, too. Oh, goodness gracious, the AFC South got absolutely clobbered by the schedule makers this year. But as far as the AFC East, to start, the Dolphins, a couple of standout games. They got Buffalo, Tampa Bay. They play Baltimore, I have as a 5. Tennessee's a 4, like a strong 4. Indiana, the Indianapolis Colts, they're a soft 4, maybe a 3. Las Vegas is a 3, maybe even a 4. I really like Las Vegas's roster. New Orleans are a 2. I have them playing New Orleans. I think they're a 2, although I think if Jameis Winston's a lot better than I think then they could easily bump up to a 3. I like their secondary. I love their front 7 on defense. Their offensive line always seems to, like, no matter what happens to their offensive line, I can't name a single one of their offensive linemen, but they're always good, especially when it comes to just giving holes to Alvin Kamara. They got Alvin Kamara. They got Michael Thomas. They have great offensive weapons and an offensive line that's like it seems like every year their offensive line is held together by duct tape, but I love New Orleans. They're probably going to get bumped up to a 3, but right now they're a 2. But that leaves the Dolphins with an overall score of a 49 in difficulty, and I have them pegged between 8 and 10 wins. That's second in the division. I think their floor of 8, I'm pretty confident in that. Last year they won 10 games. I'm pretty confident they could win 8 again. Tough schedule, nothing crazy. Bye week is in a pretty good position actually for them heading into the postseason. I would not be shocked if they go 4-0 in their last 4 games. And it all depends on the Pats and the Jets. I think if the Pats take a step back, which I anticipate they will, then I think the Dolphins could actually easily win closer to 11, maybe even 12 or 13 games. But for right now, I like them at 8 to 10 wins. I'm going to save the Bills for last because they're probably going to. We all know that they're the division winners. The Pats, the Patriots, they play in 1, 2, 3, 4. In week 4, they play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They play against Tom Brady. Tampa Bay is a 5. I got Cleveland as a 5. Tennessee a strong 4. Buffalo 5. Indiana, Buffalo again. Pats 51 in difficulty, a little above average, nothing crazy, but definitely not one of the easier schedules for this year. I have them at 6 to 8 wins. I'm pretty confident in that, although I might even go them a little lower, maybe even between like 5 and 9. It's tough to get a range on this team, especially because we don't know what Mac Jones is going to be. But I definitely have them 3rd in the division. I think I'm pretty confident they're going to finish 3rd again. Just in front of the Jets, behind the Dolphins. Speaking of the Jets, I have them as a 48 in difficulty. They have obviously Buffalo. They have Tampa Bay, Buffalo again, Tennessee, Indiana, nothing crazy from the Jets. Their schedule definitely isn't one of the tougher ones in the world. They play Cincy, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Houston. Houston might even go down to a 1. I have them as a 2, just out of respect for just how damn good Deshaun Watson is. But I mean, we never know if he's going to play a game of football again in his life. He may never take the field again. So we'll have to see. But the Jets definitely have a very wide range because, like I said, a lot of it comes down to they have a new coach, a new quarterback, and a big addition to the offensive line. I have them at 2 to 7 wins, although they definitely have one of the wider ranges of 5. But I really don't see them going over 7. I got to be honest. I think they could maybe steal. They're not beating the Bills or Dolphins. I think they're getting swept by both of those teams. So that's immediately an 0-4 right there. They might split with the Pats. I doubt it. But best case scenario, they're 1-5 in division. And if you're 1-5 in a somewhat strong division, I don't think you're going to win more than 7 games. I think tops. I have them at 7 games. Couple of games I think they could win: Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Carolina, maybe Denver, Atlanta. Maybe they might steal. Maybe they can steal one against the Dolphins. But although personally, I don't see it. I like them at 2 to 7 wins. A total of a 48 difficulty. Last but not least, the team we all believe to be the division winner, the Buffalo Bills. They have a 44. They have a very easy schedule from what I can tell and from what I believe. Pittsburgh, I have them. I'm very, very low on Pittsburgh right off the bat. I give them a 2, maybe a 3, but I don't love their offensive line. I don't love Big Ben. Their defense is great, the front 7. I don't love their secondary. Although personally, I think they have enough offensive weapons to easily make me eat my words. Pittsburgh, for me, is a bit of a risk that I'm taking as far as ranking them low. They could easily make me eat my words and potentially even win the division. Although I got to be honest, someone has to lose that division, and it's not going to be them. It's going to be Cincinnati, but someone has to come in third, and I got Pittsburgh. But they're 2. Miami's a 3. Washington football team 3. Houston 2. Kansas City 5. Tennessee 4. They got Jacksonville, the Jets, New Orleans. They got New England, Tampa. They're probably going to lose. But Carolina, Atlanta again, the Jets. This is it's not that difficult of a schedule. And the more I look at it, I have the Bills winning 10 to 13 games, but if Josh Allen can continue to be, even if he doesn't progress at all, although I expect him to improve at least a little bit, he's basically improved every single year he's been in this league. But even if he doesn't improve, I definitely see this as one of the better teams in the AFC, potentially even the AFC winners, if they can somehow find a way to knock off the Chiefs and the Ravens. As far as games that I think are a shoo-in, obviously Jacksonville, both games against the Jets, New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta. I think they could easily sweep New England. Maybe they'll lose one, but I think Pittsburgh they got, Houston. Tennessee is going to be difficult. Kansas City is going to be difficult. Indiana, Tampa Bay. But I really only count 4 teams that are really, really, really going to give them trouble. And so with that, 10 to 13 wins. I think they're easily the division favorites. I'd be shocked if they don't win. I haven't checked the betting line yet, but if it's a good betting line, I'd definitely take it. I'd hammer the over at whatever their win projection is. I think 10 to 13 wins is a very I might even be lowballing them a little bit. They might even go up to like 12 to 14 wins. Just because, again, I only see 4 games on here where they're really, really, really going to have trouble. I think if they somehow lose all 4 and they somehow split with the Pats and the Bills, they're still 11-6, which is a great record. So I have the Bills definitely winning this division and being super, super, super strong competitors in the AFC East, or not just the AFC East, the entire AFC. So that's the AFC East. That's all I'm going to do for now, just because, I didn't even realize these take me like 10 minutes each to go through all 4 teams, all 4 schedules. Oh, God. I still have 2 more NFC divisions to do. And I got to redo the the AFC North. AFC North, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. I'm going to redo that, and then I'll probably do this again in another day or so. But, Bills, AFC East champions. You can book it. Put it in the Louvre. I don't know how to pronounce the Louvre. I don't know how to pronounce that one museum that the Met Gala takes place in. But anywho, put the Bills down. 10-13 wins. That's my gut. That's what my gut's telling me. And I'm gonna go redo some of these number projections for some other teams, and then I'm gonna keep on ranking these teams. Let me know what you think about the Bills winning it all. Let me know if you think the Dolphins maybe have a chance. Maybe you think Cam Newton has a rebound here. Mac Jones is just that dude. Let me know. This is an interesting division in football, and I look forward to seeing how it's going to be. All right, you beautiful number people. Thanks again so much for listening. Thanks again for the previous interaction on my video, Andrew. Yeah, thank you all again so much for listening, and I will see you all next time.